First order of old business is an update on the waterfront pier project. Let's see.
Do you want to take it?
Yeah, we can do that. So last time we met, we had voted to engage the engineering firm that provided the original set of plans to what did we engage? I'm trying to think of the last time we met. You do the timeline first. Okay. Yeah. And then I'll cover the other part.
Our last call with Shoreline Engineering and Clay, the principal engineer, we discussed some of the structural options within the renderings in the plans. We had the contractors bid a few different options on some of our line items in the scope of work. And so we ran those options by the engineer and got his input on it. And then the infrastructure committee met on Monday of this week. We had the contractor, which is Gulf Coast Land and Marine, as well as their project manager and the engineer all in attendance at the meeting. We had additional board members attend. Charlotte was there too, just to make sure anyone could ask any questions that they had. We worked through the details on why you would choose flow through decking over wood decking for the top of your deck. We also discussed pile wraps, pile caps, and got both the contractor and the engineer's opinions on what we should and should not do. Then we voted again as a committee. The committee changed their original vote to use wood decking to use flow-through decking. Pile wraps are going to be a game time call. Once the contractor begins pulling up the old pilings, if there's evidence of sea worms on those pilings, then the recommendation from the engineer is to use the pile wraps. The pile wraps will add additional cost to the project, so that's why we're considering if we want to use them or not. So that will likely be a change order on the project if we do see sea worms pop up. And I think that's it.
So when we updated sorry, Matt. So when we updated the design, I'll just give a little preference on or a little, insight into the history. The design, the original design that we had to start with was the bare minimum bones. We like to call it the MFO, or minimum functional objective, or minimum functional case. It's the minimum case that will meet the objective of what you're doing, right? So the committee, Matt, with his expertise, along with the engineer, suggested some improvements for durability, duration, etc. So we increased the size of members. We talked about the flow through decking. So those are some of the updates that we have made into the revised design. All we can share the updated renderings and whatnot of that. So we are waiting on pricing for that. We should have that very soon. But the design we have now, we feel is more robust and is durable. We want to be good stewards of the association's money. Also, we want to think about longevity of the pier. We don't want to build it in 5 years, have to go and make modifications to it, or send Jeff's team out there every single week. So
we didn't discuss it and we didn't recognize it, but we need to we've got a committee recommendation for the contractor, GC, whatever, and they bid originally 2x6 decking in their bid, so we need to have a deduct for 5,000 linear feet of 2x6 treated to 0.8 CCAA. Yes, and the labor.
Yeah, that's understood. Yeah, we recognize that.
And we need to look into we got 16 foot of embedment in the contract, which is correct, and 12 foot on those plans. And on the plans, Clay needs to redo the cross section drawing because he's assuming 2x6s and he hasn't got 12-inch centers for the stringer. There's more stringers with 12-inch centers than 16-inch centers.
I think it's 15-inch centers based on the flow through decking.
But he said at the meeting 12-inch.
I just looked at the
For through
specs.
flow.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
looked at it, it said 15
You can make a 5-foot deck with that,
with 15 centers.
15-inch center.
That's what the spec sheet
All right.
says.
Well,
But yeah.
we'll check that
Mhm.
just to be sure.
Yeah, I hope that whenever we finalize the design, we ask Clay to update the drawings, that he'll update all of that.
Mhm.
So our next things to discuss as a committee is really some of our next steps. So we're working towards finalizing the contract language. Everyone's been given the draft contract from Patrick. Matt, I've already received your feedback on it. If anyone else has some feedback,
Well,
I'm trying to compile just one single email or document to Patrick that has all of our feedback combined so that he doesn't accidentally miss an individual email feedback, from the 6 of us. Make sure we're all on the same page. We don't have to have them redo the contract multiple times for us. And some other things to think about is, should we make a site visit as a board and go over and look at where the lay down area is going to be, and have that visit also with Nick and Pete as well as John and
we
Tim.
just need to be sure that, just drink water. We need to be sure we've computed what laydown areas are needed and the size of it. We need to coordinate that with the contractor, be sure that's adequate. And then we need to coordinate if that's on the property that we've leased to the owners. We need to coordinate with them.
Yep.
But we need to be clear with the owners. They don't need to direct the contractor during construction.
Correct. That's why I think one single stakeholder meeting with the board, the contractors and the operators all saying everything in the same room together is probably the best way to make sure we're all on the same page.
And we need to coordinate with the city, the amount of times the city boat ramp will be tied up with construction activity.
That's a good question to ask him. If it will be at all blocked or not accessible for the public. Yeah, we should have like a construction kickoff meeting.
Yep.
Good idea.
There's other odds and ends, but
Do we have identified laydown areas yet? I think we have. I think we've talked about it.
Yeah, I've asked John, he said he's gone over there and identify, I think it's that old tennis court parking lot area. So that it doesn't detract from the restaurants, because it's a little more off to the side.
they have to get the materials too from the laydown area to the construction site. So we need to know what their intentions are with that.
Okay, how about we plan that stakeholder site visit once we've finalized an agreement? Or do you want it done prior to finalizing the agreement? Let's
Should probably do that first.
first.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we have an off-schedule site visit, like in a week or two prior to the state of? Can we call a special meeting on that?
I don't think it has to be a special meeting.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't know. I mean,
So, Matt,
Or-
do we need to call a special meeting to have a off-calendar site visit?
No,
Or we can just go.
Are we
Whoever
voting?
needs to go.
no.
No.
uh-uh.
No, then,
Okay.
no, I think it's just research.
Be more concerned about
Okay.
availability of everybody.
Yeah.
We keep referring, are you done, Matt? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm through.
We keep referring to the contractor. And I'm confused by that because, we have not awarded a contract to anybody for this project.
We did vote on the selected contractor. It was recommended by the
But this
committee.
board did not vote on
Yes, we
that.
did. We have a board vote on it. It's in the minutes.
You're gonna have to show me that because we voted on, Clay's portion of this.
This was
Hey.
prior to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see that. I can't understand how we
Sure.
could have voted on a contractor for this entire project when we didn't have good numbers. And
Well, I
we,
disagree with you on that. We had good
well,
numbers.
just, no, wait. When the last I saw was we had 3 and then the committee rejected 2. And now we were sitting with this one. I gotta say that I do not recall voting to award a contract. So, yeah, I
I'll
don't
send it
know,
to you.
what's your recollection, Matt?
Not as a board, no.
Uh-huh. Jeff, do you know off the top of your head?
Tom, I'll send you the minutes.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it was a stated meeting or work set. I mean, and again, I might be conflating the committee, so I honestly, I don't remember which meeting it was. I'm sorry.
Any other comments or questions on the status of their project?
I'd like to know more about the sea worms and the criteria there. Whose idea is that? Where does that come from?
The contractor at the meeting on Monday, he was, talked about it, and we have that meeting recorded, so I can have Jeff send you.
Where does the idea, it's the contractor is the one who said, oh, you don't need that?
No, the engineer said you don't need it. You can use it. It can be useful. We asked the contractor, what's your opinion? And he said, well, it really depends on the quality of the pilings that are there.
Right. What do we know about best practices in this area?
Best practice is he thinks that we're not gonna have the sea worm problem because we are more brackish than salty, and the sea worms
Yeah.
are more in the higher salinity
So-
concentrations.
So do we have an impartial advisor on this? Have we attempted to get another opinion?
The existing pier does not have power ups. And it's been there for, I don't know how long it's been there.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's the only information we have on current conditions.
So if
I
they're
would- I would just
dilapidated,
say-
then we would wrap the new pilings, and if
Mhm.
they are in good shape, then we would not wrap
Yeah.
the
You
pilings.
know,
We're
I would just
spending-
say, you can look at stuff that's out there, the bulkhead around the Pier A, I think it was, you can look at what's left of it.
I just worry that we're spending a lot of money there. And are we overlooking insurance, basically? You know, are we trying to nickel and dime something when we should be looking at the most effective use of the spend to create longevity and low maintenance? And I kind of feel like I'd like to hear from a third party on that.
I'll send you the video from the meeting that we had on Monday. So you
But
can
that's
hear
not a
those
third
two.
party.
A third
right?
party of who? There's no
Another
CWARM
marine expert.
specialist that
There's,
is gonna
Oh, yeah,
come
we
in
have
sure
and
there.
analyze our,
there's, I want somebody who doesn't have a stake in this.
So
The
you want us-
engineer
But the
doesn't
engineer,
have
he
a
doesn't
stake in
really
it.
have a stake in it.
Who?
the engineer.
Clay. He doesn't care if we do it or not. It's just
He said it's a preferential
Mhm.
choice.
Yeah.
We're certainly not
So-
nickel and diming
Look,
because
wait a minute,
everyone's
wait a
I
minute.
don't
interested
understand the
in
logic
flow
because you're
through.
saying that you don't want to spend the extra money. We want to be very careful with the money that we're using. But then you want to get a third party involved, and we've already kind of discussed the two different people that have advised us that it's a, game time decision. So you wanna bring in a third party and have to pay the third party in order to tell us whether or not we should do something that we haven't even decided? I guess I don't understand the question.
Yeah, that was not what I said. And,
That's
and
exactly what
what
you
I'm
said.
saying is, right now, we don't know. We're taking the word of someone who clearly has a conflict here. Let's not do that. Let's look at bringing somebody else in and evaluating this so that we know whether it's smart to go this way or whether it pays us to spend a little more now on doing it
Yeah,
to
that's what the
save
engineer is for.
considerable replacement time later.
So let's have the engineer take a look at it when we pull the
Well,
piles up.
let's have
Well-
an engineer give you an opinion that's dealt with piles for 30-something years. How about that?
Well, so is our engineer that we have stamping the drawings.
We're
Yeah,
paying, we're
he gave
paying
his
that guy.
opinion. I heard what he said.
And also,
They- let me
John and his
speak.
team-
Don't interrupt me. Let me finish. Good grief. Y'all are so afraid I'm gonna say something that's gonna run against you. You won't let me say
go ahead,
something.
Matt.
Well, will you let me speak? You go around this area and you look at the piers that have been built by many different people. Some of them have concrete pile wraps around them. Don't you think they got advice from somebody? They didn't just willy-nilly put that stuff around those piles. It's a pain to put pile wraps in, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of different opinions on pile wraps is what I'm saying. And I'm saying, go out there and look around the area that I'm talking about. The end closest to the city boat ramp there. Look at where we had Pier A and look at those. And y'all decide. I don't, I'm saying, you've never built a pier, you've never designed a pier in your life.
That does not mean. my
That's
opinion
right.
is less valuable.
You've never designed a pier in your life. I don't know whether you have or not.
I've built a pier.
I've designed piers, put my stamp on it, you know?
Yeah.
There's something behind that, just meaning I have a liability. And I'm saying there's a lot of people that stamp drawings that think pile wraps make sense. There's some that don't. We got an opinion on the telephone call, but from Clay, prompted by a whole bunch of stuff. But I'm saying just look and forget whether we're arguing about it or whatever. Look at the conditions and see what you think then. Don't decide
But
now.
I think that that's
Just
what we
look
all
and
said.
decide. Let me finish.
I'm agreeing with you.
Just look. I don't care whether you're agreeing with me or disagreeing
I'm
with me. Be
agreeing with
quiet.
you That we're
Be
gonna.
quiet.
Game time decision.
It's getting out of line, telling other people to be quiet.
I'm doing it because the president's not holding the
Come
board
on.
to an order. Come on me.
You're slapping the table,
They're-
you're yelling, and you're
they're-
telling
I'm
people
not
to be
yelling.
quiet. It's out
They-
of order.
You're talking out of order.
Can we just be adults here? Matt, please finish.
I'm being adult. Go out and look at it and make that decision then. Don't just go on what's been said. Talk to some other people.
So Matt,
Don't include me in the decision because this is baloney.
so you're telling me that an engineer who has stamped drawings, I as an engineer who has a stamp and can stamp drawings, I'm gonna question their decision on their design?
I'm saying he said
But
it
this is
could
not a
go
safety
either
issue,
way.
right?
And
What's not
and
a
I'm
safety issue?
I'm
Pile
saying
wraps,
He's
I'm saying a
not
lot.
recommending them.
but it's not a safety issue. His stamp has to do with safety, right?
Yeah. So
It's more than
Tom's
safety.
interrupting you, Matt,
It's
and talking over.
well,
So,
whatever. Y'all decide.
well,
Y'all
I
decide.
think, I don't know, maybe this is unclear. We've hired an engineer. The engineer has suggested we make a game time decision. We'll have the engineer review the piling. We'll have the contractor who's pulling up and putting in the pilings. We're gonna follow the advice of the professionals that we're paying to do the job.
The
I can't
contractors
look at a
aren't
piling.
professionals in this area.
I cannot look at a piling and tell you if it's good or not, and if it should be wrapped or not. Clay at Shoreline can. We're gonna rely on him to advise us on the best steps. We're completing the project in an efficient way, but also in a way that's structurally sound and protects our
It's
investment.
structurally sound for a period of time, but he doesn't own those piers, we do. Keep that in mind.
But Matt, I guess I have a question, and I'm not being facetious. Why didn't we have this conversation on Monday then? Why would we have these people in the room and we were having these types of conversations even after they left and it was just us?
We had this conversation.
But we did not to this extent. I was under the impression that you were satisfied with game time decision. When they pulled it up, we took a look at it. If
We
there was
didn't make a
obvious-
decision on
I'm
power
still
routes.
talking if we're gonna play this game. So if we're gonna take a look at it at that time that it comes out, and if it's decided that, yes, there's a problem, maybe we should protect this more because it is an investment, it is something we need to be taken care of, then we do it at that time. We can't decide right now, yes, let's spend that extra money, let's wrap them, just because we feel we want to be extra careful. That goes back to Tom's statement of spending money we don't need to be spending. But this is the conversation that we had on Monday, and now it seems like you're kind of deviating from that. So I guess I'm not understanding why we didn't have that conversation.
We
to this extent
recorded
on
that
Monday.
meeting. Go back and see if we made a decision on power routes.
We did
Yeah,
not.
we
The
did not.
decision was
That's
that
right.
we would make a game time decision.
That was the decision that was made.
That's right.
I think you're saying the same thing, Matt.
I am.
Pull them up, look at them.
No, I'm not saying pull them up. I'm saying look at them out there now. There's some out there now.
I can't see them underwater though.
Right.
I'm not advocating for the damn power
So,
routes.
have
I'm
you-
saying,
not
look at
saying you
something.
are.
Don't wait till we got somebody under contract he's pulling up, then we have to change the design.
I'm gonna vote with the recommendation of the two professionals we've paid or selected to do the work.
And Matt, another question.
I'm
for
not
you.
gonna decide ahead of time. That's gonna be my vote.
You said
Mhm.
that you've done this and you designed them, and I have no doubt. And you've been down there. Did you see anything that would indicate that?
Yeah,
So, okay,
but that doesn't mean we use power
no,
routes.
agreed, but that would have been helpful information on Monday.
I gave that information all up front.
I didn't hear him say something about the bulkhead,
Right.
but I heard John and Tim say, we wanna pull them up and look at them.
The contractor does not want to put them in because they have to get in the water and do
That's
water
right,
work.
that's right. And they're gonna argue against those just like they do cross bracing. Those arguments have been around for 20 years
Right.
and they've been rejected by a lot of people.
I think if we have the
Because
opinion,
contractors make those arguments.
I think if we have the opinion of the engineer and the opinion of the contractor, we have enough information to make an informed decision.
Well, that's good you think that.
Well, here are the professionals we selected to do the job, so I'm going to put my faith in them. On Pierce, I think that was it.
Tom, did you have anything? Sorry. Tom, did you have anything else?
No.
For the stakeholder meeting?
Yeah, for all of us to.
Do we want to discuss availability now for that stakeholder meeting?
Do we know when the contract's gonna be ready from Patrick?
No, well, we have to get everyone's feedback on the contract
Mm.
first, and I've only got one person's feedback on the contract.
Well, now on the contract, we haven't seen the exhibits yet, right?
You have.
What I
Those
saw from
exhibits-
Patrick did not include exhibits, and I saw him say in there, I could do better if I had the exhibits.
We're still modifying the exhibit.
No, Patrick has the exhibits. They're updated and they're in your infrastructure committee emails. There's the rendering, I forget, there's exhibits A, B, C, and D. One is the renderings, one is the scope of work, one is the contractor's bid.
Well, now,
I forgot what. the other exhibit is.
maybe I'm confusing the timeline, but the last email I saw from Patrick was him saying, I'm returning the contract. I did what I could here. I could do better and be more specific if I had the exhibits. Now, I can't tell you that that was last Wednesday, but I can tell you it was no more than 2 weeks ago.
Yes, so he had the original exhibits when I sent him our first draft version. We sent that to him and asked him to get a more shored up draft version. He was asking for the revised paperwork that we just got back from Shoreline last week. So we'll be sending that to Patrick along with all of our feedback so that we don't have 5 rounds of revisions.
Okay, but I don't feel that I can comment on the contract till I see the complete contract with all the exhibits. And it feels like, and maybe I'm misunderstanding you, that you're asking for us to agree to that prematurely because we haven't seen that yet.
No, I'm asking you to look at the contract and see if you think that there are things that have not been covered that should be covered or that aren't covered as well as you think they should be. Or any, just,
Do I have the most recent exhibits?
yes. And I'll send you a new email where I put Patrick's version with Clay's newest
I
exhibits
think
all together.
that would be
in one.
helpful.
Yeah,
Yep.
if you could send us a contract with all the latest
Yep.
exhibits. Mhm.
Yeah, well, I was sending you guys the revised exhibits as I got them and I didn't get them all at once, so it is in three rounds of emails.
So do we think that's gonna happen in the next week or so?
Yeah, I can send this tomorrow.
But review and Patrick updating it and have it ready?
Oh, well, how soon can the board get their comments? So if I send everything tomorrow in one email, so you have all the things in one spot, how long does everyone think they can get
A
their
week.
feedback? A week? Okay.
I think if
Okay.
that time's
Yeah.
available to everybody
Next
on the
week.
board, a week's
I don't know.
a long time.
Don't forget Gil's not back till when?
Sunday.
So I think we need to hear from him about how
Yeah,
quickly he can.
and we need to see before I spend time pouring through this, I need to know that Patrick's made all the changes he's gonna make. I don't wanna review it 100 times, a full contract. See,
I get that. So honestly, my approach is the opposite because we don't pay you $250 an hour to read 3 revisions, but we do pay Patrick that money. So I thought it was more prudent of us to get all of our comments, thoughts, and everything over to him one time so that we're not paying him thousands of dollars for the contract.
So 16th, it looks like we'll have comments in July
Okay.
16th. And then
What are
And
we
then
agreeing
can
to?
schedule-
When?
we'll just have comments in by July 16th.
And then how about,
Then we'll have to send it back to Patrick.
to
Patrick's gonna
Patrick.
have to review.
yeah, and so maybe, do y'all do an on-site visit before the stated meeting on the 23rd?
Well, we probably need to get the contract executed and signed by John before we do that.
Before the site visit?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I had the opposite notes.
Yeah.
earlier.
So we'll probably have to,
who is John?
John
Who?
is the contractor at GCLM.
Why would we want to have the contract executed before a site visit?
That's preferable.
Well, I don't know the process. I'm asking you.
I mean, you have a signed contract and so you're bound by something at that point.
Right.
I
But
mean,
what if the site visit turns up information?
I mean,
later?
that's a fair point. You're right. We probably should have done it before this then,
Mhm.
so.
What about, well, we could just do a site visit the week of the 20th?
Not gonna be that week, but
I'm not
You
gonna
guys
be
can
here
go.
that week either. I'll be getting, I'll get in on the 23rd. All right, so let's just
What
take
do
it
we
as
need
we
to have
go.
done before we do a site visit? Like, what do you think is preferential? Because I mean, Tom makes a point, there might be something that we see or a question or something like that, that we were like, we need that in there.
Mhm.
So, and again, that goes back to what you're saying about multiple revisions, so it's like, what is keeping us from walking over there and taking a look other than everybody's availability? I mean,
Yeah.
you know. Fortunately, I don't have anywhere to go, just hurry up, cause football season's starting, but I'm saying after that.
You guys wanna try for something next week?
I can do Monday or Tuesday next
Same.
week.
Cause I know your availability is kind of wonky.
You know, I don't wanna speak for Gil, but that seems pretty pressing for him if he gets back on Sunday and we're saying, hey, you got a meeting Monday, you know?
I think he's gung ho and ready to do something, so I say we propose maybe Tuesday and see if he's able to, and if not,
Yeah.
we figure it out.
We'll figure it out. He won't be, then obviously he won't be here for art tomorrow, you guys talk about that.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay, so we'll say the 14th for the site visit.
Well, we have dimensions for a lay down area.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna look for a lay down area, right?
Mhm.
The pallets are 30 foot long.
Mhm.
There's, I don't know how many pallets are on the job now. I lost track with so many changes, but I would guess it's over, I know it's over 90 something 30 foot piles, about yay big around. They gotta be stacked in a certain way. I don't think they can all be stacked on top of one another. We need to, when the piles are delivered, you inspect them to make sure they're straight, to make sure they meet the minimum tip diameters, and to make sure they have the right treatment. And you reject, typically you have piles shipped to a job and you reject some. You know, you'll have 4 or 5 rejected. I had 50 piles on a house in Charleston that I was designing for these people. We had about 50 piles. We had about 10
Mhm.
rejects out of those original delivery. We need to have an area that will contain the piles, will contain the dimensional lumber, the 2x6, 2x12s, et cetera. And we need to have room to inspect and reject. And the owner, we're the owner has an inspection there, 2 of those piles. We don't have the piles delivered and then they drive them and then we go, well, that pile's crooked or that pile doesn't meet specs. So you inspect the piles upon delivery with that person, whoever it is. And we need to have an area that we can do these things in. And do we know what the dimensions, the length and width of that area is before? You know, we can go out there and point and say, we use this area. And then we find out it's too much slanted and et cetera. There's all kinds of considerations that come with a lay down area, as you know.
Yeah,
And,
definitely all good questions that we can talk to
and-
John about.
Yeah,
make
we,
sure.
we need to have that all tied up before anybody goes and looks, you know.
Jeff, do we have a measuring wheel?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
In my office.
are you available on the 14th?
I'm clear. I'm gonna check with my bosses, but I think I'm
Okay. Is that enough peer stuff right now?
I'm peered out.
Figured out. All right, moving on to some even more fun stuff. We got the results of the climate survey in. And I was just gonna go through some of the questions for us to just discuss, like what we found in the survey. What was interesting, what was inspiring, what gave us some ideas.
Has everyone looked at those?
Yes.
Did we get the survey results sent to us?
Yeah,
Yep.
We have-
we did.
Well, there was a link, right?
There's a
And
No,
have
that was
we-
a PDF
Mhm.
attachment.
Yeah, yeah, but have we aggregated the results or?
It's in that PDF file that
It
I
is.
sent to everyone. The subject line is survey results.
Yeah, Survey Monkey does all that for you.
Yeah, so I didn't touch
thought-
it.
All right, I thought, I mean, I saw responses to each question. and I read through all of that. But I didn't see, and I thought I read through the whole thing. I didn't see anything that synthesized all of that.
So there's two tabs. There's an aggregated tab and an individual response tab, and you may have been on the
Maybe I missed the,
individual
okay.
response tab. But what
Right.
I attached as a PDF to the email was the aggregated results only. So for example, like here's one of the first pages that ask about satisfaction with just basic management of the association.
That I saw.
Okay, so you see
Yeah.
that table? So that table is the aggregated.
Okay, I
results
did
of
see
all the
that.
responses.
I did see that because that raised the question of waiting,
Of what?
waiting,
Waiting.
the weighted result.
Oh, are you asking about this final column
I
here?
am.
Okay. What's the question?
Who assigned the values?
Survey Monkey.
Okay,
So everything was structured as a like question if it wasn't tied to a frequency style question. And so the number is assigned on an ascending scale. So very unsatisfied is a 1 and very satisfied is a 5. And so that's where the weighted average comes in.
Mhm.
So on that first question here, where we're able to get aggregated tabs, we had some really good news there. In general, people are satisfied with the maintenance of the physical appearance of our common areas. Believe it or not, communicating with residents, organizing events for the community, and maintaining relationships with Daphne. But we didn't get satisfactory scores on maintaining problematic properties such as vacant and dilapidated houses, which spurred that idea that I was talking about at the beginning of the meeting. I think that the dissatisfaction with this question item is because people are unaware of what properties are and are not subject to art guidelines. And so if we could post something like that on the website, wouldn't be difficult to create. I think we could improve resident satisfaction with that specific item.
I would ask, with respect to that, Stephanie's supposed to go out and periodically drive the neighborhood each week, is that right?
Yeah, also, we don't maintain derelict houses and lots, so. But
So what,
we don't maintain them, like, it's not our.
yeah,
job.
I know we
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
maintain them, but
we
she,
do everything we're allowed to do, but yeah, she's out.
she identifies them,
Mhm.
we write a letter,
Mhm.
we pass those on to Patrick. So the people that own the property have no doubt that whether they're,
Mhm.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, the next question that I was looking at that asked about how much residents agreed with things like if we have an adequate amount of parks and open spaces, if they feel safe living here, if there's an acceptable ratio of homeowners to renters, and if there's an adequate amount of sidewalks. And we scored satisfactory on adequate amount of parks and spaces and safety. We did not score satisfactory on ratio of homeowners to renters, which we cannot control. An adequate amount of sidewalks for pedestrians, which is always a long-standing problem, but something, I think we were already well aware of that there was lack of satisfaction with sidewalks in the neighborhood. It's a huge neighborhood. I don't know if unless there's a sidewalk on every street. How do we only use the city for sidewalks, or do we make our own sidewalks too?
We don't make our own.
it's a
Just the
city.
city?
Cause they
Okay.
own the medians on the road.
Okay.
so,
Well, that's sounds like a Gil problem then.
Yeah,
He'll be so happy with that.
Right?
Mhm.
The next question is satisfaction with our amenities. if you printed out the page, I'm on page 15. And, you received satisfactory ratings on the pools, the golf course, the waterfront restaurant, the golf course, the Frisbee golf course, the boat launch, marina parking and playgrounds. We did not receive satisfactory ratings on the lake, walking trails, the 19th hole, or the tennis courts. So, the walking trails is probably low hanging fruit. I don't know, Jeff, that's me guessing.
Yeah, these are all some things that we probably need to talk about. Yeah.
Let's not get into solutions to the, let's
Okay.
just see how the
Yeah.
results are.
Sure. Okay, next question is frequency of use of our amenities. The most frequently used
But,
amenity.
Could I ask a question? On the last thing, you said we got satisfactory ratings on the pools and the,
Yep.
in spite of all the,
Some people are just.
By
loud.
all the
The
complaints.
handful.
The
Yeah,
weighted
and-
averages.
And, yeah, don't take that, don't attach that too much significance to that because the numbers are so shallow. But I mean, it's okay. You know, the way I looked at these questions was I started with the neutral and it's just a different way of reading them. But I started with neutral and was looking for the, okay, they don't hate us answer. And when you think about it that way with the pools, nobody hates what we're doing. Is that a fair look at it from
surprising.
the other side, Misty?
Yeah.
Well,
that's
from the
surprising.
statistician, I will say that at a 95% confidence level with a 5.5% margin of error, the numbers can be used to infer what the satisfaction is with the neighborhood on the whole.
Yeah, just a small sample, and we know it's not enough to be representative, but I get your point.
It's absolutely representative. That's what the 95% confidence level is.
We'll disagree. 435 would be representative.
Well, I have the PhD in statistics, so I'm going to say, according
Okay.
to my degrees, it is
That's fine.
statistically significant.
Mhm.
The second most frequently used amenity is the 19th hole clubhouse and pro shop. The third most used amenity is the waterfront restaurant. I thought that was interesting.
How do you
Same.
feel about that? What's your opinion on that? The 19th hole, I guess, is what I'm saying. That the waterfront, we can't.
Oh.
Well, we know people are dissatisfied. We're dissatisfied with the 19th hole.
No, but I'm
it
saying like
frequency
the
of use?
frequency of use is what I was
Second most
asking.
frequently used.
Behind the
behind the
Of the
pools.
items that,
Yeah.
of the items that were listed.
Considering it's a snack bar for the golfers, I wouldn't have expected golf to be ahead of the 19th.
Mm, okay.
Um, the overwhelming majority of our customers in the 19th hole are golfers. But hey, I'm not here, I'm not mad.
That's what we're in.
So I always like to read the top and the bottom. So the bottom three frequently, the bottom three or least frequently used amenities. The least used is marina boat parking, which makes sense because we only have like 35 stalls. Then the lake, which makes sense because there's limited public access. And then the tennis courts, which makes sense because there were 8 courts and now there's 2. Okay, so the next question carrying on with the amenities was asking the residents what they want us to prioritize out of the amenities. And the pool was the #1 priority, which I think none of us are surprised to hear. The golf course was the #2 priority. The waterfront restaurant was the #3 priority, which I was surprised. Surprised to hear that. Tennis courts are #4, 19th hole #5.
Does that mean they
And-
wanna they wanna use the 19th, they
They-
wanna use the waterfront, or
They
they
want
use
us-
the waterfront, what does that mean?
They want us to prioritize addressing it as an amenity. So the number one thing they want us to focus on is pools, then the golf
But
course.
it's not an amenity that we own. How do we prioritize an amenity that we don't, that we have contracted away the use of?
I don't know that this provides that answer.
Yeah,
But people are just, in their mind, when they're taking this, they're saying, yeah, that's a priority, we probably need to look at that, meaning, but we can't tell you, I mean, this doesn't tell you what they're thinking of, why they made it.
I'll
preferred.
tell you what my wife was thinking when she filled it out. I can't tell you
Um,
what all those people were thinking, but
So what was the question here?
This is page 21, if you're looking.
Yeah,
at
I
it
don't have
now.
those
Oh.
pages with me in that way.
It
Would you read the
was-
question, please?
List in order of priority what you want the board to focus on.
So this is not the amenity maintenance question.
No, this is just what do you want the board to focus on? What do you want the board's priorities to be?
Interesting.
Our next question asked, what new amenity would you like to add to the neighborhood? And the number one by far was a fitness center. The 126 people voting for the fitness center. Number two was jogging track and trails. Tied with a pet park. That was 89 people both said they want jogging trails and a pet park.
are they aware that the city is, that we've leased that land to the city as a dog park and a Frisbee course and so on and so forth?
The Frisbee golf course is listed as an amenity for them to have rated their satisfaction with, and for them to say what, if they want it to be a priority for us. But the Frisbee golf course is just listed as a Frisbee golf course, not as a slash also
Dog
pet
park.
park.
Does it have a dog park over it?
No, well,
I don't think it does.
Hmm.
Oh, does it have a dog park at the Frisbee?
People
area?
take their dogs down there,
mean-
use it as a dog park,
Wow.
that's what I was saying,
I don't know if that's Intention.
yeah.
The third most wanted amenity is splash pad, with 87 people. Wanting a splash pad. Number 4 is pickleball courts with 79. Number 5 is community garden with 59. And then the rest kind of drop off more. We asked a question, the tennis center needs to be revamped. What do you want to happen with the tennis center? The vast majority of people had no opinion. 73 people said install new hard courts and keep all 6. 30 people said get rid of tennis altogether. 172 said they have no opinion. We did for these questions provide answer boxes. So if they had ideas, we asked about their ideas tied to the fitness center. And so we have a bunch of text. I could do a textual analysis if it's something that the board would like, so that we could glean more insights from the text box comments. The next question is question 14. The stables need to be revamped. What do you want to happen with the stables? Again, vast majority said they have no opinion on the stables. This was a little closer, especially given that we have a 5.5% margin difference. 89 said bring in a new stable operator and keep the stables. 62 said get rid of the stables altogether.
The problem we have is those 89, we don't know whether they're saying, sure, like living in a subdivision that's able to say we have stables, but 89 of them don't have horses and none of them
Yeah.
are, none of them have ever been boarded there. So, you know, I don't know how to, you know, those answers, I don't know how to take them. You can take them a lot of different ways,
Well,
and
they have text comments on that too, so you can read into why they wrote those
E-
comments.
Every person,
Not every person,
Yeah.
but they got,
Yeah, it's
but
like
some
an optional
people,
comment. Some of them are
Yeah.
good.
some people did say, I just like the idea of having a
yeah, yeah,
staple
I
in
know
my
that, my
neighborhood.
wife did that.
Okay, next question, satisfaction on some common areas. We got, satisfactory scores on plant bed entrances and parking lots. I was surprised on the parking lot. Landscaping in general and safety lighting in general. Pool bathrooms are less than, satisfactory scores.
Blame it on Jeff.
I know that's a never ending battle.
Concrete outdoor bathroom.
Just make it the half song.
Yeah.
Good idea.
There you go.
Make it awkward.
Yeah.
Only for you.
Yeah, it's true.
Email, the next question asked about our communication channels and, their satisfaction with them. We got satisfactory scores on email blasts, the newsletter, social media, and community meetings. We did not get a satisfactory score on the website. I feel like we can do a lot with the website. I think the new Jonas app coming on board is also gonna be a great additional channel.
Yeah, the board's already supported that.
Okay, we asked a broad general question just to get sentiment from the residents on all of our amenities. And so the question, 34 says, we have several large and valuable assets in our community, such as golf course, marina, clubhouse, stables, and tracts of land. In your opinion, what opinion should the board consider if an asset requires an extensive financial investment to remain viable? We, had some mixed answers here. So 40% responding said restore and repair the asset and keep our assets intact for the POA. 29% said offer a lease for an operator to assume responsibility of maintaining the asset. 11% said sell the asset for reasonable prices offered. So those were our main aggregated questions tied to some things we can impact as a board.
So what do we do next?
I think it would be great if everybody picked a pet project out of here. Like was there an insight that stood out to you that you have an interest in, that you think that you can make an impact on? I would love if we had 6 pet projects that we individually picked from the survey responses and kind of drove them and updated the boards and the committees of, as necessary
What,
with our idea and some ways to get it going. So for example, I saw in our capital improvement plan that we had $150,000 for refurbishing the 19th hole. The 19th hole is showing up as something that's frequently used, and it's showing up as something that the membership wants us to prioritize. It is going to be a capital project, so it would be run by the infrastructure committee, but we have several board members, they're on the infrastructure committee. It'd be great if someone wanted to start working with Jeff on an RFP for that.
we discussed that last board. We authorized the infrastructure committee to go out with a request for proposals from various engineering firms. I met with HMR, with the president of that firm who had done work in Lake Forest and does work all over, and asked his opinion of it, what would go in the request for proposal, et cetera. That's as far as it got. The year ended.
So are you volunteering to pick that up and work with Jeff on an updated RFP?
Well, I will.
That would be
But,
awesome.
but keep in mind the capital improvements SOP envisions either an assigned committee or a special committee for any project that falls within that area. So it doesn't necessarily assume that the infrastructure committee will take on every project that falls within that.
Okay,
And you may
Mhm.
be getting close to what I was just thinking, because I heard you say, contact Jeff about an RFP. I don't think we want to put Jeff in that kind of spot of goaltending here. I think that we as a board need to set 6 priorities, 8 priorities from this survey, whatever it is, and then authorize those to be researched, rather than picking off here and there. And oh boy, I like the idea of a jazz night. Hey Jeff, how much is it gonna cost to bring Thelonious Monk in here, you know? I don't think that's a good process. I think we should do this, set the priorities as a board, and then let Jeff carry that out.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment that rather than, having a grab bag over what projects we'd hit, what projects the board will take on, the board should decide that. And then if, the board decides they want to assign a certain project to a certain person, they can.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what I'm
but
hearing
that's a
is-
better way. That's a more diplomatic,
so you want
board way
collaboratively
of
set a
doing it.
board priority list.
yeah.
Which would start with each person presenting some ideas on
Sure.
what you think should
Mhm.
be priorities.
But let's not snow Jeff. He might,
Yeah,
I know there are
well-
days when he has enough to do, maybe 1 or 2 a week, but.
Yeah.
It happened in a while.
Do you want me to start that email?
Yeah, since that's your area of expertise, data analyst.
I'm not gonna lie, it was real fun reading these results. I am gonna dump all the text into my text analysis software just for fun. Cause people had some really good ideas here and only a few people beat us up. And so it was nice to see that, 5 out of 250 people wanted to beat us up, but 20 to 30 people put real thought into their ideas because they clearly are interested, want things to be better. And then even a couple people said we're doing a good job, which is also nice to hear.
That's very nice to hear.
Yeah.
So do we put a timeline on, kind of bringing some ideas? Cause I don't,
Sure.
there was a lot of work that went into this. We got a lot of good turnout. And I don't want it to fall flat, so
Maybe by next working session.
I think that's a good
Okay.
idea.
Cause there's a lot of other things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a good topic. Anything else in surveys?
No, I think that's it. If anyone lost that email with the, oh wait, there is one more thing. But I'll finish this thought. If anyone lost the email, Tom, if you can't find that PDF file, let me know. I'll resend it to you.
I think I have it because I am, as you've been talking, I've been looking at my numbers. I took it and reworked it. That's why I didn't recognize it.
Okay, so here's the last question. What do y'all think about just posting the PDF file that I sent you via email on the website for all members to see the full responses that don't have our fingers in it, just the aggregated survey software compilation?
They don't have any context to evaluate that.
Well, they live in the neighborhood.
Cause they possibly took the survey.
Yeah.
That's a
That's a
poor,
lot of
that's
context.
a poor description of the context. What I mean is they don't have a context to evaluate what the context in which this question was asked, which the answer was provided, in what context the discussion we were having as you were going through that. They don't have any of that. They don't even have what we got just now. So I don't have any problem with telling people what the results were. But we need to look at that real careful because we could spawn a witch here real easy by accident. And
Well, I think we should leave the text comments out because that's unnecessary, but I think the aggregated tables and column charts are, easy to consume information. I think people would get down in the weeds with the comments. Cause some of them were nasty. So I
yeah,
would wanna
I
share that.
expect that.
Is it possible, and it might not be, is it possible, because like he's saying is, maybe they don't remember the survey, maybe they don't remember the question, maybe they don't remember how it was set up, or how, because some of them got to move things and prioritize. Is it possible to do maybe a side-by-side or some way that they have a visibility of what it looked like? Where this was what the question looked like, and these were the answers that were provided. That way, maybe, I don't know, strike something, but this might also create, other people who want to take it maybe next year when we do it again. They're like, okay, so this is what they did with the information. They provided it for everyone to be able to go through and see what was going on. We might get more participation.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, whatever we're gonna send out, we take a hard look at that
100%.
and
100%.
take a devil's advocate point of view to it and make sure that we're not creating a monster.
Okay, so look at that PDF, cause that's what I'm proposing we post minus the text box comments.
Let me just pull it back out of Survey Monkey, just click a button that says remove text.
Yep.
In your
Well,
experience, how
I
do you
would
display this
propose-
data to
Yeah,
the
I
people?
would
How do you
propose,
do it? Like, how have you, what's the normal?
yeah, I would propose you send to us, to the board, what you're gonna propose to put in.
Exactly, so I'll strip the
Rather than,
comments out.
I don't wanna have to go, I'm not even gonna, I don't, just condense it to what we would tell people.
Okay. And I can also write we call it in data analytics, business understanding, but what it is you're describing the context like you're talking about, like, why did we do the survey? What was the purpose of the survey? And, it's kind of like the trailer before they read the results.
The methodology.
Well, just send that out, let
And
us
is it
look at it.
possible, because like here you have it set up where it has the numbers and the volumes and things, is it possible to just do it as the graph and have some of these populate on there? That way it's not so busy and it's a little bit more one glance.
It's possible. in
I have 5,000 ideas, but I know you're limited by what Survey Monkey offers, but I don't know if maybe they did offer a
I'll
little bit of,
see, and maybe if it's an upgrade, maybe we just pay for the upgrade. So you're like a tooltip.
right, well, not even a tooltip, but like, we could see on there that there were 275 people that answered this question. And that, maybe the weighted average is something that's listed over here, and you're right, they can hover and it kind of gives a breakdown. I'm just thinking someone's gonna stop and look at this and go, I don't know what I'm looking at, there's a lot of numbers right there, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
numbers. So, I mean, I don't wanna, obviously, we're discussing not changing it at all, we're just pulling the information directly out of Survey Monkey and providing it. That way, it's not adjusted in any way, but how people are consuming it is definitely a concern.
And the question's gonna come up, I just thought of it, well, I wanna see all the answers.
We're busy.
That's right,
We got-
that's right.
I mean,
Good answer.
there's 275 people who gave us their opinion. This is what their opinion was.
Yeah, yeah.
It was not adjusted or changed in any way. Here you go.
Okay.
Thank you, Misty.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
We're good. Have a
Anything
good night.
else? Nope. All right.
Make a motion, meeting be
It's a work
adjourned. We don't
session.
have a work session.
Yeah.
I just want to know if it rains at anybody's house. Good luck.